Everyone.
Yeah.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you all to the 12th Annual General Meeting of your company. I now request our Chairman, Dr. Azad Mupin, to welcome the shareholders and begin the proceedings of the meeting. Over to you, sir.
Yeah. Good morning, dear shareholders. Good morning to you all. I am Dr. Azad Mupin, Chairman and Managing Director of Aster DM Healthcare Limited. I am attending this meeting from my residence in Dubai. I welcome you all to the 12th Annual General Body Meeting of your company. In view of the COVID-19 pandemic and the social distancing norms to be followed, this AGM is being held through video conference in accordance with this meeting from my by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs and SEBI. In the current circumstances, the company has taken all feasible steps to enable the members to participate through video conference and cast their votes on the items being considered at the AGM. A live streaming of this meeting is also being webcast on the website of NSDL. Before we begin the proceedings of the meeting, I request my colleagues on the video conference to introduce themselves. Ms. Alisha Mupin.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Alicia Mupin, Deputy Managing Director and also the Chairperson for the Risk Management Committee. I confirm that I'm attending the AGM from my residence in Dubai. Thank you.
Mr. TJ Wilson.
Good morning, all dear shareholders. I'm TJ Wilson. I'm one of the directors of the company. I'm joined from the corporate headquarters in Dubai. Thank you.
Mr. Anup Mupin.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Anup Mupin, Director of the company, joining the AGM from my residence in Dubai.
Mr. Suresh Kumar.
Good morning. I'm Suresh Kumar, joining the meeting from my residence in Dubai. I'm an independent director and chairman of the Audit Committee and Stakeholders Committee.
Thank you. Professor Biju Varki. Professor Biju.
He's set to join, I think.
Oh. Yeah. So we will wait for that. Mr. Shamsuddin bin Mohideen. Mamu Haji. Mr. Shamsuddin.
Good morning. I'm Shamsuddin bin Mahidin. I'm one of the directors of the company. I'm joining the meeting from my residence.
Thank you, Shamsu. Dr. Laila Hassan Ali Mazruki.
Marzuki.
Good morning, everyone. I am Dr. Leila Al-Marzuqi, and I'm joining the meeting from my residence in Dubai, UAE. Thank you.
Yeah. Mr. James Matthew.
Good morning, everybody. I am James Matthew, an independent director of the company. I am joining the meeting from my residence in Dubai. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Mr. Sridhar Iyengar.
Hi, I'm Sridhar Iyengar. I'm an independent director of the company, and I'm joining the meeting from my home in California. So, good evening.
Thank you all directors, and thanks a lot. And we have some very eminent directors who have joined this year, and 2 independent directors have joined in the last board meeting, and we welcome you. And now I'll go to the Group CFO, CEO India, and Company Secretary to introduce themselves. Mr. Srinath.
Good morning, everyone. I am Srinath Reddy, Group CFO of the company from the corporate headquarters.
Thank you. Dr. Harish Pillai.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Harish Pillai. I've joined the meeting from my residence in Bangalore. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Harish. Ms. Pooja Agarwal.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Pooja Agarwal. I'm the Company Secretary and Compliance Officer of the company. I've connected from the corporate office in Bangalore. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks a lot for the introduction. We also have Mr. Rushan, partner of Mrs. BSR Associates LLP, the statutory auditors of the company, attending this meeting from Bangalore. Mr. Jaydeep, partner of Mrs. Deloitte, Huskins and Sells, chartered accountants, the incoming statutory auditors, attending the meeting from Bangalore. Mr. Damodaran, managing partner of Mrs. Damodaran and Associates LLP, company secretaries, the secretarial auditors of the company attending this meeting from Chennai. We have the requisite quorum present through video conference to conduct the proceedings of this meeting. Participation of the members through video conference is being reckoned for purpose of quorum as per the circular issued by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs in section 103 of the Companies Act 2013. The quorum being present, I call this meeting to order. Just wanted to inform that due to preoccupancy, Mr. CJ George and Mr. Daniel Mintz, 2 of our directors, couldn't join the meeting and have conveyed their regrets and regards. I should note down here that they are not chairman of any of the statutory committees. I now request the team to play a short corporate video on Aster DM Healthcare, after which I shall continue with my speech. Pooja?
Aster DM Healthcare has been founded on aspirations of service and quality healthcare at an affordable cost. From the humble beginning of a one-doctor clinic in Dubai in 1987, the institution's growth as a leading and trusted healthcare company over the last 3 decades stands as a testimony to its commitment to provide accessible healthcare at a good value. It is this commitment that contributed to the phenomenal progress of Aster DM Healthcare as one of the largest integrated healthcare networks in the GCC and the 3rd largest healthcare company in India by market cap. The network of 380 world-class facilities comprising of 25 hospitals, 117 clinics and 238 retail pharmacies across the GCC, India and Jordan provide millions of people care, comfort and solutions for many of their clinical needs at their very neighborhood. Its hospitals, including those that provide super specialty services and quaternary care, have now 4,804 capacity beds. Medcare, Aster and Access are brands created to provide quality and affordable healthcare to all economic segments of the society. This unique multi-tier positioning of the brand has helped Aster DM Healthcare to successfully expand its services to 7 countries, including the UAE, India, Oman, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Bahrain, and Jordan. With a fast-growing network to its credit, the company has become a major employer that provides regular employment to over 20,000 people, including 3,000 doctors and 7,200 nursing and paramedical personnel. From the financial year 2014 to 2015 to the financial year 2019-2020, the company registered impressive growth in India by expanding its services into key states, and India's contribution to the company's revenue has risen from 11% in the financial year 2014 to 15 to 19% in the financial year 2019 to 2020. For the financial year 2019 to 2020, the company achieved a turnover of 8,739 crore, with an EBITDA of 968 crore. To encourage innovation in the healthcare industry and within the Aster network, Aster Innovation Center was set up in association with external partners. X-Health Innovation Labs, India's first industry-led global incubator for health, was launched. Aster has also entered diagnostic business in India with Aster Labs and is currently conducting COVID-19 tests in Bangalore, India. With 33 years of history to its credit, the company was evolved into a leading healthcare network from the vision of its founder, Dr. Azad Moopen, who passionately believes that medical care is a service to the society and profit should only be a byproduct of that service. Consistent with the founder's philosophy of serving the society, the company has embarked on various social and healthcare programs. To celebrate its 30th year of service in healthcare in 2017, Aster DM Healthcare introduced a unique initiative called Aster Volunteers. Today, it is a global platform bridging the gap between people who want to help and those in need of help. Ever since its inception, Aster Volunteers have been instrumental in providing support and care to people in need through its numerous pillars: mobile medical camps, recruitment and support of the differently abled, free surgeries and investigations, medical and wellness camps, free medical investigations and surgeries, basic life support, BLS awareness, and humanitarian aid programs. Through its efforts, the program has been able to impact 2 million plus lives globally. The devastating flood that wreaked havoc on the length and breadth of the Kerala state in 2018 rendered scores of people homeless. Aster Volunteers were among the first responders to initiate grassroots intervention and provide aid, and now 250 Aster homes are being built for families who have lost everything to the floods. Aster Homes is in its second phase currently, and 100 homes have already been handed over to the beneficiaries. As a healthcare organization, Aster DM Healthcare has been at the epicenter of managing the COVID-19 crisis across geographies, working hand in hand with the local authorities to introduce and implement the latest medical protocols, treat and screen as many people as possible. In UAE, Aster has been instrumental in flattening the curve, with 2 hospitals being appointed as dedicated COVID-19 facilities by Dubai Health Authority, and a 3rd hospital has been launched as a critical care center for COVID-19 patients. The group also undertook management of multiple isolation centers and hotel facilities for treatment of mild to moderate cases, mass screenings in congested areas, and assisting in the transport of critical cases using Aster Volunteers' mobile medical services. To support Dubai's government efforts to manage the surge, Aster brought in 88 critical care medical professionals from India. Meanwhile, Aster Volunteers swiftly responded to the crisis and supported the needy through mass screenings, Feed the Hungry program, free medical teleconsultancy, webinars, among others. Time and time again, governments and institutions have honored Dr. Azad Moopen's contribution to healthcare through awards and recognitions. Notably among them was the Padma Shri, the 4th highest civilian award in India. Forbes magazine recognized him as one of the most powerful Indian leaders in the Arab world and one of the 100 influential Indians in the world. The Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry, FICCI, presented him with the Lifetime Achievement Award in 2018. Adhering to the core values of compassion, integrity, respect, passion, unity, and excellence, Aster DM Healthcare is moving forward with its aspiration of providing high-quality healthcare through technological advancements and innovations, while reinforcing the value of a caring mission with a global vision and expanding to more geographies. Aster DM Healthcare holds on to its promise: we'll treat you well.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks a lot. So I will now deliver my speech for the AGM. And thank you all for the patient listening. 1 second, there is some technical issue. Let me just get it. Yeah. Dear shareholders, welcome to the 12th AGM of Aster DM Healthcare Limited. Let me first of all express my heartfelt thanks and appreciation to the shareholders, board of directors, and 20,000 plus Asterians for the constant support to the management to take Aster to the new heights. We have grown from a single doctor clinic in Dubai in 1987 to a large healthcare group spread across 7 countries with 25 hospitals, 117 clinics, and 238 pharmacies in 3 decades. The world is going through the unprecedented challenges of our lifetime due to COVID-19 pandemic. During this trying time, healthcare providers naturally are in the forefront of the battle to prevent the onslaught of the pandemic and maintain uninterrupted services. We have been at the epicenter of the COVID-19 crisis in GCC and in India, with active participation, prevention, and treatment. Our key markets have been impacted by the pandemic, and the medical and support staff have provided superb service in spite of the risks involved. In Dubai, we were involved in testing, quarantining, and treatment of the patients from the beginning of the epidemic in March 2020. There has been an overflow of large number of COVID patients from government to private sector. To address the sudden surge, we converted some of our facilities into COVID hospitals and partnered with hotels to set up isolation facilities to quarantine and treat mild cases. We could quickly introduce end-to-end solution of telemedicine, home care services, lab collection, online purchases, and home delivery of the medications, shifting the focus of care to the homes of the patients wherever it was possible. We expect this behavior to continue, and our operation and business models are evolving accordingly. We brought large number of medical staff trained in critical care from India to aid the local governments in UAE, the efforts to provide quality healthcare to the COVID-19 patients. We consider this as one of the examples of showing that relationship between UAE and India, which is a strategic relationship. And we thought that it is our duty as healthcare providers to get involved and get as many people as possible. And even now that trial is going on, even though India also has got a surge now, we are getting more healthcare workers from India to cater to the requirements of the patients in UAE. While the pandemic is waning in the GCC countries, we see major surge in India where we are actively involved in the care of COVID patients. We support the initiatives of the governments in the 5 South Indian states where we have major operations. We have dedicated large number of beds for the treatment of the COVID-19 patients. The new business vertical of the company in India, the Aster Labs, received ICMR approval for RT-PCR testing of COVID-19 and have conducted more than 14,000 tests already. Amidst a crisis of this scale and nature, we have prioritized the health and safety of our employees as the foremost and provided them all the protective measures. This is not only for the patient, for the employees, even for their families, we were extremely careful. We continue to deliver superior services while encouraging our employees to work from home, utilized video conferencing facilities, and conducted online courses for nurses and doctors for deployment in the COVID-19 units. Coming to the financial performance in the last financial year, the impact of COVID was minimal as it was business as usual till mid-March 2020. Our revenues from operations grew by 10% to rupees 8,739 crores in financial year 2019-20, compared to rupees 7,963 crores in financial year 18-19. Our adjusted PAT stood at rupees 334 crores during the year under review. Our GCC operations continued to be the major contributors to the overall business, accounting for 81% of the total revenue. I'm not going into the details as it is provided in the annual report. One second. While this pandemic is waning in the GCC countries, we see major surge in India where we are actively involved in the care of the COVID patients. We support the initiative of the government. This I have already mentioned. We have dedicated large number of beds for the treatment of the COVID-19 patients. I'm sorry for this confusion. The new business vertical of the company in India, the Aster Lab received ICMR approval for RT-PCR testing of COVID-19 patients. I have conducted more than 14,000 patients. We are happy to report that we achieved a milestone when we granted 100% ownership of our business, including the hospitals, clinics, and pharmacies in Dubai on the basis of a new law enacted. Major part of our business is now fully owned and further conversion is happening. This is something which we were trying for a long period, and I'm extremely happy that this has happened, and this is something which really gives us a lot of confidence as well as comfort that most of our businesses in GCC are owned by the company. Earlier, the situation was different because of the rules here. We had to have a local partner holding 51%, which has completely disappeared in most geographies, but in some places it is still there. But nearly 90% of our businesses in GCC are now fully owned. During the year under review, apart from the focus on core areas of health, of hospitals, clinics, and pharmacies, we diversified our business to enter new segments like laboratory services and home care. We have also started the Aster Telehealth to cater to the demands of the people. The Aster Innovation Center at Bangalore is in the forefront of cutting-edge healthcare technology. Aster continues to support the poor and the needy in the society through the Aster various activities of Aster volunteers. Aster volunteers have been very active in the area of providing medical services to the people in the remote area through Aster mobile medical vans. We have also provided Aster homes for 100 people affected by the flood in Kerala and are now building 150 more such Aster homes. We are conducting awareness programs and supporting people with food kits and medical supplies in the markets that we are presently in. COVID-19 has further increased the focus on the healthcare sector manifold as we are in the eye of the storm. I would like to add that of late, the COVID situation has improved in the GCC countries, and our business, which were severely impacted in Q1 of the current financial year, is slowly limping back to normal. Though the situation is unpredictable and volatile, we are closely monitoring and taking adequate initiatives to address the situation through proactive measures. The need of the hour is to ensure smooth functioning of our existing business operations while focusing on business continuity and sustainability. We hope that the business shall achieve near normalcy by second half of the financial year 2021, provided there is no fresh wave of COVID in GCC. Let me salute our doctors, nurses, and support staff who have been the frontline soldiers in the war against this sinister monster. I also thank the leadership team and all the Asterians for their hard work with dedication. The unwavering support wise counsel, and strategic directions provided by the board to make steady progress towards our mission to create value for the shareholders is highly appreciated. We are overwhelmed by the support received from our shareholders and business partners. Going forward, we remain committed to deliver the highest standards of healthcare while staying true to our promise, we will treat you well. Kind regards. Thank you. So request the Deputy Managing Director, Alicia Mopen, to make her speech.
Thank you, dear Chairman. Dear shareholders, I'm sure we'll all agree that COVID-19 has made us realize that the most important priority for all of us needs to be our health. It has indeed been a true awakening. COVID-19 has really taken the world by storm, and it really has stopped the world on its tracks. While things slowed down for most sectors, we in healthcare went on overdrive. But in 6 months into the pandemic, I can say that we feel privileged to be the caretakers of the health of the people. And the current environment has only reiterated and reinforced our passion and service to society by playing a significant role alongside the public sector through the various countries' task forces. At Aster, we continue to strengthen our position as a leading healthcare provider operating in a dynamic and challenging environment by focusing on patient-centric care. It has enabled us to venture successfully into every aspect of healthcare, right from quaternary, tertiary, secondary care to multi-specialty hospitals and primary care. Our efforts are always in sync with our understanding of our patients' needs on how to take better care and how to enable more sophisticated services to improve the outcomes as well as the experiences for our patients. Our constant efforts to combine quality care with affordability has really increased our patient count steadily. During the year under review, we treated around 19.4 million patients, and our inpatient count increased by 16%. To meet the rising demands of the Indian and GCC market, we added 1 hospital, 3 clinics, and 19 pharmacies, thereby taking our global capacity to 25 hospitals, 117 clinics, and 238 pharmacies. We also launched Aster RV, a 230-bed quaternary care hospital in Bengaluru. Our operational beds have increased by 11% from 3,092 beds in FY19 to 3,438 beds in FY20. In line with our strategy of discontinuing loss-making operations, we have closed down our operations in Philippines and Kuwait. We have also rationalized our CapEx strategy, and the focus has now shifted to its optimum utilization of our existing assets for better capital return. Our philosophy in today's strained and stressed environment is centered around doing more with less. So we will focus our efforts on sweating the assets more, which are already in the system, before deploying additional capital. We believe that the healthcare model is changing at breakneck speed. We truly believe that we're at an inflection point right now in healthcare, and we're actively building the healthcare system of the future, which has enabled, empowered, and engaged patients. With an aim to achieve clinical excellence and improve service quality, we have set up Aster Innovation and Research Center, designed to find unique and path-breaking healthcare solutions. A team of innovators and medtech incubators are actively working to identify unique solutions to make healthcare affordable and easily accessible. Recently, we launched India's first industry-led incubator for health called X-Health Innovation Labs. Our facilities, they have been recognized through accreditations, numerous awards from reputed industry bodies, and some of the highest Google ratings. We believe that the voice of our patients is the most constructive feedback loop that enables us to improve constantly and raise the bar in healthcare. Aster introduced a microsite called Our New Earth in an effort to coach people to transition to the new normal living post-lockdown. Health coaching is the future of healthcare, where we move from episodic management of patients to an active long-term holistic management of the patient. We continue to foster a differentiated approach to sustain our legacy as a trusted healthcare provider. No matter how challenging or uncertain the market is, at Aster, we remain confident about successfully executing our strategy to make positive contributions to the care continuum while sustaining long-term growth and delivering exceptional return for our stakeholders. We truly believe in our ability to bring the best clinical talent and a support mechanism around it that is truly committed to the well-being of our patients, and this will always set us apart and define us. Thank you. Over to you, Chairman.
Thank you very much, Alicia. And may I just request Professor Biju Varki, who has joined, who is the head of NRC also, to introduce himself briefly.
Yeah. Hello. Okay. I am Professor Biju Varki from the Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad. It's an honor to be present in this AGM, and thank you for inviting me, Dr. Asad. Thank you for inviting me to introduce myself. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. Thanks a lot. And now we will go, since this being an AGM held through video conferencing, I request Ms. Pooja Agarwal, Company Secretary, to take you through the certain instructions for participating in the meeting. Pooja, over to you.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, everyone. Members may note that the meeting is being held through video conferencing in accordance with the Companies Act 2013 and the circulars that have been issued by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs and SEBI in this regard. The facility of participating in the AGM through video conferencing facility has been made available to all the members, and the procedure has been detailed in the AGM notice. All members are requested to refer to the instructions in the notice of the AGM for their uninterrupted and seamless participation. In case any member is facing any difficulty, they may reach out to the helpline numbers. All members who have joined the meeting have been placed on the mute mode to avoid any disturbances arising from the background noise. The company has received requests from a few members who have registered themselves to speak at the meeting. Accordingly, the floor will be open for these members to ask questions. The moderator will facilitate the session once the chairman opens the floor for question and answers. The register of members, the register of directors and key managerial personnel, the register of contracts or arrangements in which the directors are interested, certificate from the statutory auditors in terms of Regulation 13 of the SEBI Share-Based Employee Benefit Regulation 2014, statutory auditor's certificate, secretarial auditor's certificate have been made available electronically for inspection by the members at the AGM. Members seeking to inspect such documents may send their requests to cs@asterdmhealthcare.com. As members, as the meeting is being held through video conferencing, the facility to appoint proxy is not available, and hence the proxy register is not available for inspection. The company has provided the facility to cast their votes electronically on all the resolutions that are set forth in the notice. Members who have not yet cast their votes and who are participating during the meeting will have the opportunity to cast their vote through e-voting system provided by NSDL. Members can click on the voting tab on the video conferencing screen to avail this facility. Those shareholders who have already cast their votes may attend the meeting but will not have the opportunity to cast their votes again. Thank you. Now I request the chairman to conduct the proceedings of the meeting. So you're on mute. May I request you to unmute?
So thank you, Pooja. The notice dated 20th July 2020 convening the meeting, the statement of profit and loss for the year ended 31st March 2020, and the balance sheet dated 31st March 2020, together with the report of the Board of Directors and the auditors have been circulated to you. With your permission, I would like to take the notice as read. I further confirm that there are no qualifications, observations, or comments mentioned in the auditor's report on financial transactions or matters which have any adverse effect on the functioning of the company. Hence, it does not call for reading of the auditor's report. The shareholders may also note that considering the e-voting on all the items of the agenda has been made available to shareholders, there shall be no voting by show of hands. We shall now proceed to deal with the various business in their order as set out in the notice of the meeting. After this, we will open the floor for any questions by the shareholders. I would like to take up all the agenda items given in the notice of the 12th Annual General Body Meeting. The first item of the agenda is to receive, consider and adopt the audited standalone financial statements of the company for financial year ended 31st March 2020, along with auditor's report and the report of the Board of Directors thereon. This item form a part of the ordinary business and it is proposed to be passed as an ordinary resolution. The second item of the agenda is to receive, consider and adopt the consolidated audited financial statements of the company for the financial year ended 31st March 2020, along with the auditor's report thereon. This item forms a part of the ordinary business and it is proposed to be passed on as ordinary resolution. The item number 3 of the agenda is to appoint a director in the place of Mr. Anup Moopen, DIN 02301362, who retires by rotation and being eligible offers himself for reappointment. This item forms a part of the ordinary business and it is proposed to be passed as an ordinary resolution. Item number 4. The item number 4 of the agenda is to appoint Messrs. Deloitte, Haskins and Sells, Chartered Accountants, as a statutory auditors of the company from the conclusion of the 12th AGM till the conclusion of the 17th AGM. This item forms a part of the ordinary business and it is proposed to be passed as an ordinary resolution. The fifth item of the agenda is to seek your ratification for the remuneration payable to the cost auditors for financial year 2020-2021 as proposed in the notice. This item forms a part of the special business and it is proposed to be passed as an ordinary resolution. The sixth item of the agenda is to seek your approval for appointment of Mr. Chennai John George as non-executive independent director of the company for a term of 3 consecutive years. This item forms a part of the special business and it is proposed to be passed as an ordinary resolution. The seventh item of the agenda is to seek your approval for appointing Mr. James Matthew as non-executive independent director of the company for a term of 3 consecutive years. This item forms a part of the special business and it is proposed to be passed as an ordinary resolution. The next item of the agenda is to seek your approval for appointing Mr. Sridhar Avabundan Iyengar as non-executive independent director of the company for a term of 3 consecutive years. This item forms a part of the special business and it is proposed to be passed as a special resolution. The item number 9 and the last item of the agenda is to seek your approval for fixing a fee for the delivery of documents through a particular mode of delivery to a member. This item forms a part of the special business and it is proposed to be passed as an ordinary resolution. Now we will take questions from the shareholders. To avoid repetition, the answers to all questions shall be provided towards the end. Members may also note that the company reserves the right to limit the number of members asking questions depending upon the availability of time. The company secretary will now invite the speaker shareholders one by one to ask their questions. Over to you, Pooja.
Thank you, Chairman. Dear shareholders, thank you for joining the AGM and taking the time to participate in it. Before we begin with the question and answer session, we have a few points to be noted for your convenience. The name of the shareholders who have registered to speak at the AGM shall be announced in turns. The shareholder will be unmuted by the... To avoid repetition, the Board of Directors shall respond to all the questions in the end. In case there is a connectivity problem with any shareholder, the next shareholder will be asked to join. Once the connectivity improves, the shareholder will be called again. Once you have asked your question, you can log off and continue to watch the AGM. If the members are facing any technical issue, then the members may reach out to the helpline numbers mentioned in the notice of the AGM. Please note that we have received requests from 3 shareholders to participate and speak at the AGM. The moderator shall unmute each shareholder in turns. The first shareholder is Ms. Pushpa Devi Khandelwal. Moderator, can you please unmute Ms. Pushpa Devi? I think she has not connected. We'll move on to the next shareholder. The second shareholder is Mr. Bajesh KM. Moderator, please unmute Mr. Bajesh.
Thank you, Pooja. Good morning, board members. I thank the company for giving me an opportunity to speak at the AGM. My name is Bajesh KM. My client ID and DP ID is 1301440023424997. I'm joining from Kochi. I would like a question. I have seen the financial result of the company of Q1, financial year 21. The result are not as one expected, especially during the COVID pandemic. Can you please let us know the plan of company has for recovering their performance? Thank you.
Thank you. May we have the next shareholder? The last request is from Ms. Uma. Moderator, please unmute Ms. Uma.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Uma Thomas. My client ID, DP ID is IN 30151610340558. My question is, so when we can expect the company to declare dividends to shareholders, and why the company has done a buyback during financial year 2019-20? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, shareholders, for your questions. While we provide the answers to your questions shortly, I request the team to play a video to share the work done by CSR team, CSR arm of Astra Volunteers during the current COVID-19 pandemic. We will just have the answers ready and then reconnect. We will now begin the answers to the questions received by our shareholders. The first question was on the impact of the business and how we are going back. So I really appreciate this question. This is the current issue that we are facing. And as you all know, this started impacting the business in early March in the GCC and little later in India. But what we have found is that the GCC business is coming back to normal, whereas the India business is struggling, and we are not sure when we will be out of this COVID situation. And in GCC, the business is coming back to normal gradually. And in the last 1.5 months, we have seen that it is almost reaching back to last year's level. But there has been a huge backlog like what you have seen in the first quarter. So we sincerely hope that we will be able to get out of this COVID pandemic and have the normal business. And one of the things which are under our control, which we are focusing with utmost care, is the cost. So the two major costs in a healthcare industry are the human resources or the people cost as well as the material cost. This is almost 70 to 75% of our total expenditure. So in both these areas, there are a lot of initiatives being undertaken internally as well as with the help support of external partners to reduce the cost so that we will be having a much better EBITDA and margins when compared to, even though the top line may not go up much. So that is one of the things. And we are also trying to bring in new revenue streams, especially in the area of digital transformation. We have now onboarded the Bain as consultants for 3 years for a journey through the digital transformation, and new avenues for growth and business income is being looked at. And we hope that that will be one area. Like that, other home care, the lab services, all these new things which are started, we hope that that will to some extent allow us to have higher revenues and most importantly the cost control, and we hope to see much better situation in the next quarters. Thank you. The next question is on dividend, and may I request the CFO to answer that, Srinath?
Yeah, so I think there is a couple of questions on the dividend side from the chat as well as a member who had come down to ask that question. So on the dividend, if you look at it, the standalone company, we have got an accumulated loss. So therefore, statutorily, unless that accumulated losses gets wiped out, declaring dividend as per the Companies Act becomes a challenge. Your company on a consolidated level is profitable and has got cash to pay out dividend. But however, because of this statutory issue, there is a bit of a challenge till such time we wipe out the accumulated loss. And in our view, maybe in a year or two, that accumulated loss should get wiped out. Meantime, it's also important that cash be used appropriately for reducing debt, to fund the growth. And also at this point of time being pandemic, we are conserving cash. But having said that, last year, we did do a buyback. So because we thought there should be a balance between all this, and therefore with an inability to declare a dividend, so we thought at least we could do a buyback, and there was a buyback done. Your board members will take appropriate decision to declare dividend considering all these matters and any other matters which they deem fit. And very soon, I think the company should be declaring dividend. Thank you.
Yes. So I just wanted to check whether the one of the speaker shareholders who was not there initially, has she joined and would like to ask a question, or is she not joining?
Details to Ms. Pushpa Devi Khandelwal to connect to the meeting yesterday. but unfortunately, she has not connected to the attendee link. So we will not be able to take this question now. But of course, we can find out her questions through email and get these answered.
So there have been some questions which came through the chat and all, which will be separately replying, no? Right. So I think we have had some very good questions, and most of these questions I think are the overall, no, the theme is the same. How the company is looking at the tiding over the COVID crisis and what will be the situation in future quarters. Very important. And second, when are we going to get dividend? So both these have been answered, and definitely we will be looking at these are our priority areas. We would like to see that our shareholders are kept happy as we go forward. There have been challenges, but we hope that we will be able to address these things as we go forward. So thank you very much. Thanks a lot to shareholders for the very relevant questions. I think we have answered all the questions. If there are any further queries, please email to us and we will answer them separately. Members may note that the voting from NSDL will be available for next 30 minutes. Members who have not yet cast their votes can cast their vote through the e-voting system provided by NSDL. Members can click on the voting tab on the video conference screen to avail the facility. Mr. Damodaran, Practicing Company Secretary, has been appointed as scrutinizer for supervising the e-voting process. The scrutinizer's report on the voting results will be available on the website of the company, and the same shall be disseminated to stock exchange at the earliest. The resolutions as set forth in the notice shall be deemed to be passed today, subject to the receipt of the request number of votes. I confirm that the participation of 40 members in the AGM today has been reported. On behalf of the board and the management, I thank the shareholders for their active participation in the meeting. I also thank all board members, employees, suppliers, bankers for the committed and efficient services rendered by them towards the successful operations of the company. I now declare the meeting as concluded. Thank you very much.